Okay, so what we're gonna be doing is we heard there's a mall somewhere out here in the woods. We're looking for it. If we find it, we're gonna go shopping.
Hey YouTube, Terry Carter here. Today we're taking an ATV ride on the north slope of the Uintas in Utah. We're on the old Carter Military Road, which was deemed one of the roughest roads in the West, and I have to feel sorry for any stagecoach or wagon that had to travel down this road, because this is one rough, rocky road. A lot of fun on ATVs though. Hey, as most of you know, I used to sell and rent metal detectors and prospecting equipment during the 80s and part of the 90s, and I had a lot of people come in and tell me a lot of interesting stories. I want to tell you one of them right now. I had a Mexican, an older Mexican guy, come to my place. He didn't speak any English, so he had his son with him to do the translate from me. And he had this box. It was a metal box. It was probably 12 inches long, 6 to 8 inches wide, and about 6 inches deep. And he had it full of old Spanish silver coins. And he wanted to know if I had a metal detector that would find that box 3 feet deep. And I told him I thought a 2 box would find that, but he wanted to know for sure. So we went in my backyard, we dug a hole, we took a tape measure, we dug it 3 feet deep, we wrapped that box in some garbage bags, and then we buried it up, and we got the 2 box out there, and sure enough it found it just fine. But what he ended up buying was the old Garrett CX2 with the Bloodhound. That's the 2 box attachment to that, because he also wanted a regular metal detector that he could detect some things with. But I asked him what he was looking for that was 3 feet deep, and he told me that them coins that he had in that metal box he found. This is through the translation of his son telling me this story. But what the story was, in the village that they lived in Mexico, wherever it was, and I don't know if it was Mexico or Guatemala or wherever, but wherever they came from, there were stories of this one area that was haunted. And the reason they figured it was haunted, because every now and again they'd see these ghostly lights come out of the ground. And he was told about it, but one time he seen it for himself, and it looked like he'd come up out of the ground and then went right back down into the ground. So he was curious why these lights would do that. And so he took a shovel and he dug down, and 3 feet down he found a clay pot full of these old silver coins. Well, he figured there was more of these out there, because there was more stories of these auroras, treasure flares, ghostly images coming out of the ground, whatever you want to call them. And so he wanted a 2 box, because you don't see these lights coming out of the ground all the time. They're just happen every now and again. If you're not in the right spot to see it, you don't see it. So we wanted to take the 2 box and check around every place that there was reportings of these ghostly areas. So a long time ago, well, back in the early 90s, Manuel Ortiz sent me a letter of him explaining how these treasure flares, how he figured they was created. And these treasure flares, I haven't ever seen one myself, but the way I understand it is, if the atmospheric conditions is right, if the moisture is right, these things come out of the ground and kind of light up, kind of like the aurora borealis. Anyways, I'll put a copy of Manuel Ortiz's letter that he sent me on this video, so that you can read through it and see for yourself what Manuel is talking about and how these treasure flares work. But I also had another guy contact me, and he told me, this guy was in his 70s, but he told me when he was a young kid, he was out in the middle of nowhere, him and his buddies rabbit hunting at night. They was spotlighting at night, and they started shooting in this one area, and all of a sudden, he said, it looked like somebody lit a lantern. It was sitting on the ground, and they picked it up in the air, and then they set it back down and it went out. Well, they happened to be shooting that direction, and it scared them, because they thought maybe there was some sheep herder over there or something. And so they all got in the truck and took off. Well, he got feeling so guilty and wondering if then they did happen to shoot towards some old sheep herder, or if anybody got hurt, he went out there the next morning to check it out to make sure that they didn't hurt anybody. And when he got out there, there was nothing. There was no camps, no sight of anything being around there. So in my mind, you know, this old boy telling me this story that happened to him when he was a kid, he seen one of these treasure flares. So I think they're out there, but they're rarely seen. But if you happen to know anybody that sees one, or you happen to see it yourself, you better be investigating them. Oh, did I lose one?
Yeah, and a jacket.
And a jacket? Oh, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
did I drop? Sorry.
It's a good thing we were behind you guys.
Yeah.
Table and chairs, guys. Oh, check it out. There's some countries right over there in those trees, too. Like very new. That's what I'm thinking.
It was purposely made with two holes over on that side. I wonder if this was some kind of a furnace or something. See the two holes on that side? I don't know what it is. This part looks newer than this part. I don't know what it is.
There was a roundish one back there too. It was made of red rocks, but they weren't flat ones like this. But they went in a circle.
Just a little cairn, or it was big?
About this size.
Huh?
And then it had some.
Where was it at?
Yes, it was in that meadow, wasn't it? Shem, wasn't that in the meadow back there? The red round one that was.
Oh, it was by that. It was by that the house that you and I was looking.
Oh. Huh.
There was just a tall, straight rock cairn. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, the round one by the log cabin.
I didn't remember log cabin. I was looking at the thing.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Always wondered.
Yeah.
I'm not taking pictures.
All right. Well, we'll head.
What did you say it might be?
Well, I wonder if it was maybe some kind of. See how there's two holes over here? How they purposely made stacked a rock in the middle and 2 holes on the sides.
Yes.
So I wonder if it was some kind of a furnace, like a smelter, maybe. I really don't know.
That would be my guess, but I don't know either.
I don't know. This part is definitely newer than this part, I would say anyway.
Yeah, it looks like somebody kind of stacked it back up.
Yeah. Don't know.
I'm getting in the way now.
You driving?
You want me to drive?
No.
No, you're driving then.
You're a scary driver.
I am.